When I entered the power plant yesterday evening, I had no idea that I would be partaking in an event that would shake the course of history. Everything just felt so normal. I entered and everyone greeted me as normal, and I was given the reactor updates as usual. Everything was just so normal. The director of the facility entered my office, and naturally we exchanged pleasantries. He asked me to take a seat. He threw some papers onto my desk, and the first thing I read was Reactor Meltdown Drill. I looked at him, and none of us said a word. The silence was eerie. I was the first to shatter the unnerving silence. But sir, there is no need. All reactors are fully operational. There is no need to run these tests. I was nervous. I hadn't run the job before. Of course, I knew how to, but it was just the apprehension that scared me the most. He looked at me and uttered the phrase I was expecting. If you value position here, you'll run them. And without another word, he left. The silence seemed to echo throughout the power plant. I knew the dangers. I knew the procedures to control the chain reactions. I just never run them before. So, naturally, I signed the authorization papers. In the early hours of Saturday, the 26th of April, I knew the fate of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant rested on my shoulders, on my knowledge. I proceeded to the director's office in silence. Everyone I passed, I ignored. I was too absorbed in thought about the drill. Besides, I was afraid I would say something stupid like, "Hello, I'm sorry, but your life rests in my hands." I continued and saw some of my colleagues leaving after doing their day shift, but yet I couldn't help but think if the reactor went critical, even they, sleeping in their homes, wouldn't be safe from the radiation Reactor 4 would release if things did take a turn for the worst. When I arrived at the director's office, I knocked and entered, and placed the papers on the desk. He smiled and said, "Excellent. I'll ensure everyone who needs to know is informed." I smiled back and left the office. I never entered that room again. It was only 10 p.m. I was apprehensive. I reread the instructions on how to perform these tests. Most of them were actually computer automated, but I wanted to make sure I was ready for any eventuality. The tests were scheduled to be run at about 1:20 a.m. He actually ran around 1:23. The April 26th, the hours passed, and all I did was read, until, of course, I was required to undergo the basic preparation for the tests. Then it began. We only activated 4 out of a total of 8 main circulating pumps. The generators were all run down, but a few were needed to keep the coolant cool. The test was running fine. Every error, the computer fixed, and more control rods were added to the reactor. Everything was running fine, or so we thought. We weren't overly happy about the way the plant was controlling the reactions, but we didn't dwell on this matter. But I did feel safe knowing exactly where the AZ button was.
I'm holding my cookie.
What the hell? Get you move out of the way a minute, Brian. I want everything to be perfect for my big day.
Can't you stay tied down to one man?
Let me give him a hug. Fine, darling, you'll be fine. Potato!
Shut up!